consider going to the Human Rights Commission?
And
Why not?
was back to work on Monday as usual. Oh. Thank you.
I don't think there's a time period on when you can lodge a case, so it might be something that you want to consider. There was discussions here just prior when we were on our break, that you were having a response to your trauma. Mike, I normally talk so loud. What is making it traumatic for you to be here in Parliament in front of the entire nation to tell us about the alleged abduction and torture with INSAPs? Do you feel like you are trapped here in Parliament?
I do not. And I wish that I was not crying. It is mortifying, and I would love to be composed and answer your questions. This whole Baklani whole thing, I thought I'd left it, moved on. It was extremely traumatizing, this whole thing and surrounding factors. And I was not expecting to respond this way. And it's...
No, I understand that you might not have been, but I would have thought that it could have also been a healing process to be able to tell your story on the platform that
Yes.
you have.
Yes, it's just hard.
I understand. When we spoke, or when the question came up about Dudu Zuma and you opening the case, is she convicted? Because my understanding, she's still on trial.
Oh, she's still on trial.
Yeah. So when you refer to her, you said you spoke as if she was
I'm
already...
sorry, I must apologize for
And
that.
when you spoke about Andile, you said alleged corruption, but when you spoke, and very passionately so.
Just from the weight of it, but I apologize for not, for making that judgment.
Let's talk, you said about the mess. So you had some communication. Yeah, I am talking, by the way. You had communication with O'Sullivan when you referred to this whole Parliament process.
Yes, the ad
You
hoc.
referred to it as a mess.
Oh, no, no,
His
no. No, yeah, that he's caused
Yeah,
this
he's
mess for
mess.
me.
Okay, so before the mess that you refer to, his mess, when was the last time you communicated with him?
Long time.
Okay.
There would be no reason, 2023, maybe.
And then what is the mess?
You know, I thought I'd moved on. And, you know, we did a lot of good work. And then there was you know, he's just started to make, you know, you've seen fighting and accusations and everything without considering, you know, and it might affect me, for one, and the work that we've done, because it takes away from that. Yeah, it's all coming back, you know, when you've left a part of your life, and then, you know, that saying, you thought you were out, and then they come and they drag you back in again.
You fought a bully, O'Sullivan.
Paul,
Yeah, in your experience,
in my,
yeah, would you
Yes.
consider him a bully?
yes,
Are you afraid of him?
I'm not afraid of him.
Okay. Has he intimidated you? Even if,
No. I've always, he was my employer, so,
no,
He-
during this period, during his mess period.
no. To put in context, last year, I think it was around when he had some fight with Athol Trollope, and I could not understand what it was, and it just became this huge issue about that had nothing, and I could just see all of this happening I could see it happening, and I said, like, please don't, it's taking away from what is important. And anyway, sorry, I'm rambling on, but yeah.
Did you get any incentive during your discussions with him on how you should approach your testimony with us today?
No, he was just very nice. We chatted about what was going on and what the questions and that kind of thing, but not in I will say what I need to say. The days of me not saying what I want to say are over, if you
Did
understand.
you
Right?
have those days with him?
No, you just do. I don't want to sound like a victim or anything like that, but it's a job. You do.
Do you think he made you do things that you shouldn't have done in retrospect?
No, but there were things where had I had I been able to have a say as to, for example, an email going out, I would have said no. Because,
Can you
so
think
that
of a
so
particular
stuff like
email
that. So
that you would have
um
said no?
it's not a particularly, I think you guys have discussed seen. I just
Discussed,
have a
right?
very different way of doing things. And I got to a point in my career.
Ms. Trent,
Pardon?
when you said you guys, what did you mean?
Sorry?
You said something you guys know, and then you moved on. So what
I
is
think you've covered some of
you
the
guys?
emails.
Okay, so you're talking about that in particular.
Just in general.
But that's one of the things that you would have handled
Yeah,
differently.
if he had
Because it
drafted an
exposed
email.
you, or because it was wrong?
Not
Or-
illegal wrong, but wrong. It's just not, I would just not write something and send something like that. I'm not saying it's illegal or unlawful or anything like that. I just would not do that. And I know that by doing that, it would bring negative attention back. And that's my personal feeling. That's my personal,
No problem.
yeah.
Anthony Henry,
Mm.
do you know him?
Yes, I've met him. I know him. I don't know him well, but I've met him a few times.
Were you not both directors at a company?
Yes, St. Helena.
Yeah. So you were business partners? Mhm.
So I was a non-executive, so I didn't have any sort of role in the company, and I don't think that it did anything. I actually, yeah, and then I can't remember when I was.
Dangerous to be a non-director with,
Yeah.
and you don't know what they.
I mean, it was part of the job, I guess.
Didn't the St. Helena Corporation, they were property development?
Yeah, so I remember when I arrived or came to Pual, Sullivan and Associates, they were looking at, I think that they were planning on building an airport on St. Helena, which would improve tourism or something like that. So as I understand, it was a property development project.
Did you know what was in the portfolio when you were a non-director?
So I think that was the
Developing, so outside of
No.
development, You don't know?
No, I don't think that there was anything.
So that was the only thing they were working on.
No, sorry, I'm confusing myself and everyone else here. There's the St. Helena Corporation PLC, which is in England, a trading company which has something to do with that. And then there's the St. Helena in South Africa, which I don't think did any trading or anything like that, but I wouldn't have been involved in any of that.
So which one were you?
In this one, in the South Africa, the one that's on the CV.
So it had done no trade, there was nothing,
Like,
they just opened, you
I-
signed up to be a non-director, you put it in your CV and you didn't know anything about what.
No,
They could have been laundering money for.
I called Paul. He said that nothing happened in that company.
And you believe him.
Yes.
So if we say, or someone says to you that Forensic for Justice wasn't established just or mainly to expose corruption, but it operated in a way, and I want to read this because I want to get it right, but it operated in a way where people who were alleged to be involved in wrongdoing or corruption were investigated and they were pressured, right? And when those individuals lost their assets or their money, then you'd get the likes of Fitzhenry and Pual Sullivan through their companies like Tradewinds Corporation, and they benefited from these outcomes. Including, so this Tradewinds company actually bought Kitchebear's house.
Okay, so what I know of that is, and again, this is what I know, that Paul had this whole long history war with Radovan Krejcir, and SARS went in on and took all the seized the assets and put it all on auction. And then Paul or a company bid on the house. And I read it in the news on the Monday, and then found out. Pardon?
Did you ask him about
No, I had only just been there. I don't even think I was still on the ad hoc basis thing. But when I read it, I was like, I bet you that's Paul.
It didn't make you suspicious of who you're working with?
No, I didn't think that there was anything wrong because he'd had this huge sort of fight, he wanted to kill him and he'd been fighting this awful guy. And
do you think he was awful too?
Who? Radovan Krejcir? Yes.
Let's go on to Robert McBride. I'm not going to ask you about your sex life. Did he ever ask you to profile a company called SASTEC, SASSTEC? And we're not going to mention the names of the people involved, but also requested that you profile the CEO of that company and family members.
I don't remember.
Don't remember.
I does not ring a bell.
Okay, so we wouldn't find messages if those messages of yours is found to be legally obtained. We won't find a message like that.
I don't know. I don't know. So I can't deny or confirm. I honestly don't remember.
Were you responsible for communication between, or not responsible, but were you the go-to between Robert McBride and O'Sullivan?
Yes.
Why?
I had, firstly, would be working or whatever, and he'd like phone this person, message this person. And then I think Paul was a bit late to the smartphone. So he didn't,
Was he late or he just wanted to have so he can have messages?
Yeah, he had the old Nokia that you like open, and we've all got our, iPhones and everything. And
you don't think it was strategic on his side because now he doesn't have messages that were downloaded. And that actually might have been used.
Hindsight.
And you were thrown under the bus. Let's go to the Plani matter. In Robert McBride's statement, he says that IPID also received some information from O'Sullivan and Trent as they had access to systems, plural, that IPID did not have for investigation purposes. What systems was he referring to?
So I think he would be referring to the entities that I just mentioned. It's TransUnion, CPB, Marisit, and that. So if he's saying that that's not what they had, I don't know what they have.
So IPID doesn't have access to that, or IPID has to do things legally and get requests to get credit checks, etc.
I don't.
So you didn't ask McBride?
No. I
When
don't
they
think
were
that there's
asking
any.
you to do that, a whole state institution is asking you to do it. It didn't bother you that they were not able to do it? Because it can't be that IPID cannot do credit checks if they need to.
Oh, I mean, if you look at the resources, have you been to the iPad offices?
Besides that, it can't be that IPID does not have access to do that, so they were taking shortcuts.
I don't know. That I don't know.
There was something that was said today that's not making sense, and we didn't get proper clarity. Who took the pictures of the house plans, of Paklani's house plans?
I think Paul, Sir Sullivan. Yeah, he had his phone in the one, and then the camera.
So he used a camera because he was using Nokia phones.
Yes.
Okay, so he did take the pictures, and that was at the.
As far as I remember, that's.
But you were there to take notes, so you would remember. And
yes, I have the recording.
so there was this thing that Robert McBride also said, that his investigators reported to him that the reason the two of you went, because you used your white, okay, I can't say whiteness, but you used the fact that you were white to get information.
I do remember Paul saying something to that effect. I do remember that because, yeah, there was.
So what does that tell us if citizens need to have white people to come and ask them? But you were there and you were part of it.
I know.
Today, we asked Mr. O'Sullivan if he had a police station in his house, and he said 3. Have you, because you've stayed at his house a few times.
Yes.
It was almost your second home, from what I understand. Have you ever seen police documents in his house or SACS
No.
materials? You've never seen it?
No.
So he was lying when he said he has 3.
I thought so he wasn't joking. No.
I
What do you mean 3?
And the reason we're asking this is that in 2024, Kritchevic's son Dennis was arrested,
Okay.
right? And there's, I think it's in an affidavit rather, that Paul opened the docket in his house. Then the SAPS officer came to collect it and took it to the police station to finalize it. Do you know anything about that?
I know
And then
nothing
later
about
the NPA refused to prosecute
I don't.
because the case was so weak. I want to go back again, Ms. Trent, to this this certified fraud examiner thing, because I think I don't understand it fully, and I'm sure South Africans want to know. So tell me, do you have access to a portal of information being a certified fraud examiner?
So so there's an option. So there's an option, for example, on TransUnion or Marisit. So you say, okay, you want to find out the company details, like a SIPSI search, but you've got to choose under what you are doing it. So it's fraud examination, corruption examination, whatever, and you've got to click on that. And you can only click on that if you have been approved by the service provider, and the approval is
So
based
which service
on,
provider? So TransUnion, for example.
so there's TransUnion.
Okay,
there's-
that's fine. Okay,
okay.
just say one of them. right?
And I'll check if there are any others. And
Okay. And the Association of Certified Fraud
Yes.
Examiners, right? They issue the certificate.
Yes,
that you would use to go and register at TransUnion, for example.
correct.
Right. Now, this association of certified fraud examiners, who regulates it? Like, forget their self-regulation.
Yeah, yeah,
like
the self-
which statutory body regulates them? Because if I want to go and lodge a complaint against a member, it might not be criminal. Which regulatory authority would I go to?
I don't know.
Okay, that's interesting. And then what happens? So what we understand here in South Africa, I don't know about in other countries, and even with real estate agents, they can't go and access your information without you giving them permission. So you were accessing people's information without their permission. If you suspected, and we don't know about this association, who they answer to. So, Chair, who's disappeared, we want to ask our evidence leaders that we write to this association and get clarity on how are they issuing out certificates, and also to the credit unions, TransUnion, Western Union, and all the others, on how they just allow someone who has a membership that they pay for to click and say that they are a member, and then they can just give out information. Because we've got very strict privacy records, and people can't just be accessing information based on them being suspicious. The polygraph test, you said that, are we not going to find any evidence later that this was something that was instigated between you, McBride, and O'Sullivan?
I wouldn't say
You've agreed that you facilitated it, but
Yeah.
you're asking who instigated it. Was it part of the plot?
It wasn't a plot. It was basically, it was how I understand it is, Mokhtedi was on the news making these wild allegations of treason and Arab Spring, and then Paul's overseas, and it's when you have that kind of allegations.
we get that.
Sorry,
I'm
I'm wasting
saying-
a time.
Right.
And so I think maybe Mr. McBride dared Mokhtedi to a polygraph.
But was there a discussion amongst the group of IPED people who were doing this investigation?
And
to
then
do so?
yes, and then I spoke to both Paul and Robert, and I spoke to the polygraph
Okay,
woman.
then you
yes.
facilitated it, but it wasn't that, it was something that was decided, it was instigated here in response to what was going on outside, that you were being accused of overthrowing the state, etc.
Yeah, and it wasn't anything like, oh, let's cook up the whole thing. It was
But it
literally,
was a plot.
it was the most ridiculous allegations.
I'm not talking
Yeah.
about the allegation.
Sorry,
I'm
I know,
saying-
I
I was
know.
asking about, you saying that was your response was to do that.
Yes.
Let's talk about, why would Paul O'Sullivan say that he was asked to vet possible national commissioners? I mean, it's even there in his book, and he's done multiple interviews about that I'm sure you might have even helped facilitate those interviews.
Which interviews?
When he goes on
He's
TV
the
saying that,
media guy.
oh, he's the media guy that
You don't
says
see
he
me in the
must feel-
media until I'm crying on national TV.
No, I know
Thanks.
that. So, but I'm saying you facilitated the interviews for him to go and tell the world how.
Oh, no,
was
I
his-
didn't
Oh, you
facilitate with the
Only-
media,
okay.
no.
But do you have anything to say on why he would tell the world that he was asked to vet possible national?
Don't know why he said that.
Is it something that he did regularly just to make up stories and position himself as, it's something he does?
I would say that things do get exaggerated a lot.
I don't think you put in that a bit kindly.
And I just sometimes don't understand why he would say what he says. It just there's just no reason. I don't know it, and it makes everything very difficult because now you don't know what you're looking at or investigating. It's
Okay. No
yeah.
problem. Let's talk about Andile Ramaphosa. What case were you about to open that implicated him and that you needed to get clarity or to clarify his name? Because you said you were
Yes.
going to open a case and that's how the contact happened. So what was the case about that? Because it wasn't a case against him.
No.
He was implicated in a case that you were about to open.
Yes.
Right. So what was that?
So we had, I think it was the inquiry, and there was this affidavit of Van Tonder, maybe, if I'm remembering, and he had made allegations. And around that time, Vincent Smith had tweeted saying that he had taken a loan from someone from Bosasa, perhaps Gavin Watson. I don't want to say something if I don't remember it correctly. And that in itself was proof of a corrupt activity. And then there was that, it was like a one sentence allegation. And I think that, and Paul said, well, we must either add it or we'll find out what his version is. So that's what happened.
So what case were you about to open, against whom?
It was, Vincent Smith.
Ah.
And and it was, look, I can't recall.
Got sentenced to 7 years today.
Oh.
So my question here is that Sullivan and Associates, or forensic, whichever it is, Paul Sullivan, he looks around to see who might be involved in corruption, exactly what I was saying before, digs up some dirt, and then those who he thinks he can extort money from, and then Andile's name came up, and then that's how Andile Ramaphosa, you contacted him. Why would you just randomly go and say, I'm going to go and open a case against Vincent Smith? Like, the target is high-profile people. And then you go and look on who's involved in this, and then let's go and see. Because, and then soon after that, you get a job as a CEO.
Oh, no, not
It wasn't soon after.
Not soon after. There was nothing
Okay.
dodgy there.
But you were only a CEO there for 8 months.
Yes.
When you joined, there was no money, or there was?
There was, but it was also wanting to expand it, and to look at almost like a feasibility in a way at whether it could happen, and it wasn't going to be possible, and to. Yeah, but it was a beautiful
relationship with the Oppenheimers.
I know one of the granddaughters, but I know her. We have mutual friends.
So you know them well enough to stay at some of their holiday homes and lodges, and do you know them well enough in that regard?
Yes, I have holidayed at.
Through the granddaughter?
Yes.
Okay. So because
I'm from Stellenbosch.
I know you said that, so that's what. So your relationship with the granddaughter is quite decent enough for you to say, I need a holiday?
No. So basically, I met her through another friend, and I happened to be driving in her car. You know, we caught a lift, and got to know, and then we had a mutual friend who was going away, and so she hosted his friends for that, and that's what happened there.
Anything else outside with the Oppenheimer family, outside of holiday in their holiday homes?
Anything
else outside of having had holidays
with the Oppenheimers?
Yeah.
No.
No.
Only on a social, mutual friends.
With the granddaughter on.
Yeah,
And
just
what
with
is
her,
the
yeah.
granddaughter involved in?
She runs what I assume is I don't know, but I think she runs a family office or something. I'm not sure.
The social media that you touched on just earlier, you said Paul is the social media person.
No, not the social media, the media.
Oh, the media.
Sorry, did I say social
Yeah,
media?
I might have, and I might have heard.
Oh,
wrong. So
no,
who was
so the
responsible
media.
for social media?
Pardon?
Who's responsible for, or who was rather?
I used to just look around, wouldn't really post, but they're on Facebook.
Mm.
There's a company that's just posts some like a post. What do you call them? Postcard type thing with the Forensics for Justice thing twice a week, or boosts it or whatever. But
So you'll
I
have
don't know.
spent money. Have you spent?
Pardon?
You'll spent money, or they have spent money boosting social media posts.
Yeah, but I mean, it's minimal. I don't think they even boost it anymore. It's just,
But it has been done. Boosting on the social media. Have you
but
done
I
that?
mean, I
With,
think it reached like 1,000 people.
and have you ever spent money on boosting matters regarding Lieutenant General Bukhani?
I don't think so.
I'm done. Thank you, Chair.